Welcome. We're back. Zach, what do you want to start with today?
The first thing I wanted to talk about today is the Big South semifinals matchups. It's been a surprisingly amazing tournament so far, to say the least. 4 overtime games of the first 6.
One double overtime, I believe.
Absolutely. And granted, the overtime games were never close. It didn't matter because the level of play that we got to see was shocking. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of them comes in as a 15 seed and shocks the world.
Yeah, no, the Big South has had a lot going on. So today, senior night for the Boilers in the afternoon edition. What do you think? Purdue is a 10.5-point favorite against IU. It's going to be Sasha, Travion, Eric Hunter's last time playing at Mackey in front of that crowd. What do you think?
I like Purdue to win. 10.5 is a lot of points though. So it's a risky play. I wouldn't mind seeing what the first half line is. I would probably steer clear. I know we got the big Purdue bias going. I was correct about Wisconsin. Yes, we got the pajama look, but yeah, I'd say IU plus 10.5 is probably a reasonable bet, putting bias aside. But yeah, that's where I'd go with that one.
Yeah, I can't bet against the Boilers. I think they're going to win by at least 30. I don't see how they win by anything less than 30. Let's move on to your team, Arkansas, with their coach with the swagger, as you put it, playing against Tennessee later today.
They are disrespecting Arkansas, to say the least. They are not
6.5 points for Tennessee.
I don't like giving Tennessee 6.5 points. I know Tennessee has an amazing schedule. Amazing. They've played some tough teams. They've proven that they are a top 15 team in the nation. But I think Arkansas is going to stick that within 6.5. You got it with Arkansas.
I don't know. Arkansas struggled with LSU. Tennessee's, they're good. They're better than you're giving them credit for.
No, they are good.
They're going to win. It's going to be close if it's at 6.5, but Tennessee will definitely win. Texas Tech, only a 2.5-point favorite at Oklahoma State. What do you think there?
2.5-point favorite. I would slam Texas Tech minus 2.5. That is shocking, but also Vegas might know something that we don't. When you put it lines at around 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, right around that point, it means Vegas knows something. Everyone's going to bet on Texas Tech. So it could be Oklahoma State, but my logical reasoning would be to go with Texas Tech there.
I think Texas Tech covers that. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything going on. I think Texas Tech's going to cover that pretty easily.
Yeah,
I don't see how they don't. Kansas home, 6.5-point favorite versus Texas. What are your thoughts there?
That one can go either way. Mm-hmm. I'd steer clear of that one. I'd probably take Kansas
I'm
being honest. But
I'm with Kansas too. Texas has just been struggling on the road this season. Mm-hmm. Kansas has been very dominant at home, projected 1 seed in the tournament. I see them covering and trying to really lock up that 1 seed.
They've struggled with TCU for some unknown reason.
They did struggle in both games against TCU.
Why.
I don't know. But
yeah.
All right, Duke, North Carolina. Coach K's last game. Spread's 11.5. Is Coach K and Duke just going to blow away the Tar Heels, or do you think it's going to be a close one?
They did on the last one at North Carolina. I can't imagine Coach K's last game at Duke would end any other way than a dominant 20-point win against North Carolina.
Yep, no, that's my thoughts exactly. Maybe they'll see each other again in the ACC tournament. Who knows? North Carolina's kind of a bubble team right now. If they want to get in, they're going to have to do something in the ACC tournament because I don't see them doing something tonight. All right, let's talk about our first conference final. The Ohio Valley Conference, Murray State versus Morehead State. Murray State's a 7.5-point favorite. They've only lost 2 games this year. Is there any way Morehead State wins this?
I do not think Morehead State has a chance. They did not look good in that second half against Belmont yesterday. Really couldn't get it up court. Offense looked dismal, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely take Murray State in this one. I don't think Morehead State stands a chance.
Yep, I'm with you. I think Murray State's probably just going to blow them out. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Morehead State shows up because that would be really cool. But if Morehead State wins, Murray State will still get into the tournament, and that could mean that they steal another team's bid.
Probably
which
IU
would be Rutgers or BYU, someone in that range. All right. USC, UCLA, last rivalry game of the night. UCLA is home. They're 7.5-point favorite. USC is the second luckiest Big Six team this year. What do you think? 7.5.
That's a lot of points.
It is.
I have not liked UCLA this year, to say the least. They don't shoot the three well. They're specifically a 2-point shooting team. I like USC at 7.5. I don't necessarily feel that they have shown remarkable amount of consistency, but I would take USC 7.5.
Yep. I don't think there's any way UCLA wins this game. I'd personally stay away from this one. I could see the spread ending up on either side. Those are today's key games. Zach, what conference do you want to talk about now?
I have personally, like I said earlier, loved the Big South, but I would like to kind of talk about the Big Ten as a whole. I think there's a lot of bubble teams that can certainly go either way, dependent on how they finish out the season.
There is. So right now, they used to have 9 teams projected in. IU just fell out, so they have 8 teams projected to make the tournament. IU could get back in with a performance in the Big Ten tournament next week. I could also see Michigan maybe dropping out, or maybe even Rutgers dropping out if they don't win any more games this year. But I think 8 teams could probably make it for the Big Ten. What about you?
I think Michigan State has fallen off quite a bit, but that strong start is definitely going to propel them up into the tournament. So I think they're no issue. I'd say Michigan right now is the biggest question mark. After that quality win that Rutgers had at IU, Ron Harper Jr. putting a dagger in another Indiana team. I think Michigan's the biggest question mark. I think IU heads over to that NIT after a loss today against the Boilers. And I would give us probably 8 teams. I'm going to put Michigan in.
Now let's talk about the Big Ten tournament in Indy next week. We might report live from the Big Ten tournament. So you were right with Wisconsin winning the Big Ten regular season. Good job with that. But what about the tournament? All on neutral ground. Do you think Wisconsin's going to win? Do you think Purdue could come back? Illinois, they won it last year. Could they defend? Iowa's been really hot right now. Nebraska out of nowhere has won 2 straight on the road by double digits. What are you thinking?
You're not going to come in and tell me that Nebraska is going to have a chance in this tournament. I think they can maybe slip one out against Penn State. Maybe. That's a big question mark, as is. They are getting hot at the right time. Bryce McCallum is definitely showing up when he needs to, but I don't think they stand a chance. As for the champion in that conference, I'm going to take Purdue. I think we go in and we pull out some games. We've kind of let our fans down, let us down in these last few games, but I think we show up when it counts.
Yep. Before I tell you who I think, if you guys in the chat want to let us know who you think's going to win the Big Ten tournament, we could get to that. But anyways, I think Purdue also will win the Big Ten tournament. They have hit a little roadblock here recently, but I really think that they will turn it around. They're going to win against IU today. That'll give them the momentum. It's in Indy, which is basically a home for them. They're going to have a big crowd at the tournament. They're going to probably be a 2 or 3 seed, which means their first game, well, they should win that. Their second game, they'll probably play Illinois. They've had Illinois' number all year. They won both those games. They killed them when it was at Purdue. I don't see how Illinois would beat Purdue. And then I think we'll play Wisconsin in the finals. I think it'll be a close game. Purdue's lost to Wisconsin twice. They say it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. I see Purdue beating Wisconsin the 3rd time. So Purdue is my team to win the Big Ten.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable assumption. I don't see anyone else that can show up as much as Purdue can on a night-to-night basis. It's just the inconsistency. They have to get over that in order to win this.
Yeah, chat says IU. We'll just disregard that comment. IU doesn't stand a chance in the Big Ten tournament.
They're not going to win the first round. That's simple as that. They're going to go in and lose to Michigan in the first round.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. We had to make it a quick live stream. We got to get over to Mackey, and we will see you guys next week during the Big Ten tournament.
Holy